Let's do it. What are these things called, then?
Hey guys, Laura here from GFC. Today we have episode number 4.
Maybe we could race your motorcycle.
Sonny's going out to meet with Jamie Hallbreder, a friend of ours who is a wonderful person. He is a photographer, he's an artist, connoisseur of all wonderful things. And they're gonna have a fun time walking around, checking out some garage sales and doing what they do. So enjoy the day, you guys. Episode 4.
This is your video camera?
Yeah. Why not? iPhone XR.
Yeah.
I mean,
funny.
what do you want for YouTube, right? We can rent some Sony cameras.
Yeah.
Hair and makeup.
Yeah, that's what kind of what I was expecting.
This is just a
This is really good. Vegan pizza. Jalapenos, mushrooms, sauce, some love, I think. I think it's made with love. I actually order it with extra love. A lot of things I've had that are vegan. It's not that good. I'm not a veganist or anything, but... Well...
Yeah, let's wander.
Should we venture?
Yeah, let's go venture. Come on, Jamie, pump! I put a lot of money on this race. What do you got to say?
Nothing.
Nothing. And this is Jamie Hallbreder. It's tough to see an athlete fall at the height of his, you know.
It's true. It's true.
What's next for you?
I think I'm just gonna move into power walking, something that I could maybe excel at. And I think I'm gonna use weights. And you know, this part, I mean, it's a little crotch heavy, and
I think you get a lot of your power from your hips. This is just not
yeah,
your sport.
No, yeah, doesn't work well with the Berks. Just gotta hang it up. Good job, good race out there. Good game, good game.
Come on.
One last race before I hang
For
it
glory.
up. Sometimes you gotta let them win.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh, Jamie, the comeback king!
Sorry, buddy. Maybe next time. Now I can retire. All right, let's get out of here. Free, just for you. Really? Yeah. No trampoline. She's like, baby, you need to call me. It's an emergency.
And I forgot that I said that. I turned my phone off. I googled my name under images.
Turns out Ray Marie Phoenix is a porn star.
I want all my friends to Google my name.
That's your new band name, by the way, is Emergency Porn Star.
But
We can
here's
celebrate.
to nothing bad happening.
I don't think I've ever canoed this part. What did you call this again?
Canal between Cedar and Lake of the Isles. My canoe's name is the motherfucking Bo Sheehan. I can tell you that story. So when I bought it from Judy, I was dating Sunshine at the time. Yeah, so we had this festival with I Like You called Joe Jam. Joe Sheehan has got a friend named Bo. And Bo, I'd never met him before. And he wore this rainbow dress, like head to toe rainbow dress, no sleeves. He had glitter like all over him. And he was really good at hula hooping. And so he would have these, like, he could hula hoop at the knees. And so he'd just be hula hooping and like smoking a cigarette and whatever. And it was hilarious. all weekend. I guess when he like gets a little tweaky, his nickname is Moonbeam. And so there's Moonbeam on the edge of this dock, smoking a cigarette, doing the fucking hula hoop, and looking around, all these people are just like, what the fuck is that guy doing? The whole weekend, he was a riot, right? It wasn't long after that I'd gotten this. We're out in the water and talking about naming it, and Sunshine's like, we should call it Moonbeam. I'm like, Moonbeam? I'm not gonna fucking name it Moonbeam. And I'm like, if anything, I'm gonna call it the motherfucking Bo Sheehan. And I slapped the fucking boat. And that was it. I was like, that's it. But like MF Doom, I call it the MF Bo Sheehan. Like you're just chilling and paddling. And I just love the flow of the canoe. I love canoeing with other people, conversations that happen. I mean, the synergy that happens. It's like you're basically choosing to be forced to be in a close quarter situation. And for me, ever since I started dating Ray, we canoe a ton. It's like I have a few regulars, but I would oftentimes like popcorn to just different people. And it wasn't even like I was searching them out, but I'd find people that had like never been on a canoe before, who hadn't canoed in like 20 years or something. And to get to take them out of my boat in the city, I mean, it's just like this really special thing. So I don't know much about the history of this. You know, this used to be a railroad bridge, and now they converted to a like bike walking path. So this bridge is really beautiful. The reflection off the water.
I got stopped by a cop in a canoe. Cop in a canoe in that canal.
Man, I never bring my real camera out here, and I should. So I take a lot of photos with my iPhone.
You know, it's funny because at the beginning of this whole
not the
thing,
same.
you were like, I got you on camera, being like, oh, what are you going to shoot with? Oh, your iPhone. And I was like, yeah, you know, I can't rent a camera or whatever. You're like, no, it's cool.
Yeah,
And then I've literally got you like 3 or 4 times. He's like, busting out his camera. I'm like,
Yeah.
Do you just not bring it out here because you're afraid you're going to get it wet?
Well, it's just a hassle.
Yeah.
So, like, and if you actually want to shoot with it, I can't really paddle and steer, you know? So the way for me to actually be a photographer would be if someone else was steering and I could shoot from the front. And that would be a lot better.
Why and how did you get into photography?
Well, it's like putting it all into a nutshell. My grandmother used to photograph her gardens, and she would paint them in the winters. So she passed away when I was 19, and they had an old manual Canon AE1 that he gave to me. I was just starting college, and I took a photo class and just like fell in love with it. I shot black and white for like 7 years, and so making my first like black and white print and watching it like come to life in the chemicals, you know, I was hooked. Found a design your own major program where you didn't have to have a second language. So I found this program, Minnesota Studies in International Development. Jamaica was one of the 5 countries you could go to. And Jamaica was the only one where you didn't need a language. And that's where I started doing documentary photography, kind of before I knew what documentary photography was. I just shot all kinds of stuff there. But when I came back from there, I had a body of work that I used to get into the Minnesota Daily. And so I got in there in 97, photographed there from 97 to 2001. The last 3 summers I did internships at newspapers. So a newspaper in Northern California, one in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, and then in Boston at the Boston Herald.
Where are you now with photography as a profession? Like,
yeah, I think that it's a challenge to stay inspired. The thing that I try and do is work on personal projects. I love documentary photography, storytelling through photos. I have done a few projects where I've gone out and interviewed people and just asked them questions and take environmental portraits. After 9/11, that's kind of where the idea came from. I was gonna just ask people like their life histories, and then 9/11 happened. I was working at the Boston Herald, and they had those, I don't know if you remember, the first suspects were possibly at the Boston Hotel. So I was like the first photographer on the scene there. There's like SWAT teams and battering rams and all this shit. And so I got a pretty cool picture of this guy in full SWAT gear and his like weapon and the battering ram like going in. They had another photographer at the Pentagon, and they don't do this very often, it's a tabloid. And so they ran a picture of the Pentagon on the front and the back of the Boston Herald. And so that would have been like my one cover photo I maybe would have gotten, you know, like the whole time I was there. So that's what keeps it fresh for me is just new ideas. I mean, I'm currently trying to source ideas for new stories. There's a home, Crescent Cove, that I started doing some work for a client that went there from the law school, and it's basically a home for hospice and respite for families with children that some of them are terminal and some of them aren't, but there's a lot of pretty serious cases and pretty heavy just situations with maintaining the life of your child that's got whatever the disease is. And so I connected with her and she had me photograph 4 families. So I've started working with families to bring light to this population of people, which is probably relatively small. The home is doing quite a bit for them. So that's just an example of one of the things